Hey everybody and welcome back to Igniskidd. Today I have something special for you guys. We'll be discussing the new teasers from Yu-Gi-Oh! Regarding structure deck number 45, the Traptrix initiative. I'll be honest here, the idea for this video came after discussion in my locals WhatsApp group and I thought it's a waste to not share this here. Given that this channel is still about our favorite, probably way too expensive cardboard. Joining me here is this guy, with whom I had the discussion about the competitive viability of this structure deck. He's been playing for quite a while longer than I have, so if you like this kind of content, you already know what to do, I won't bore you with that. And let's get this started and see if this structure deck is worth it. Hello, welcome in.
Yeah, hello, my name is Adrian. Nice having me on your channel, really exciting.
Yeah, thank you for coming on here, like, just impromptu. Without
Oh, don't worry,
notice.
I always like sharing my opinions, even the bad ones, or the good ones.
Yeah, who cares, we can edit the bad ones out.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, so, Traptrix, as an archetype. Obviously, control-oriented, normal traps, maybe the one or the other counter-trap max state mished in there. But overall, as an archetype, what do you think of it? Like, as current standing without leaks and everything?
Well, without the new release and new announcement, the deck it's fun. It's really fun. It's
yeah.
Even compared to other control strategy, I would put it on the now nerfed level of Paleozoic. But to be honest, it has been power creeped quite a lot. For example, I would consider Labyrinth being the better Trap Trick deck than Trap Trick themselves.
Yeah, fair, because Labyrinth also has a really powerful access to searchers in their level 4s, and the boss monster is actually sticking around for longer than 2 turns.
Yeah, and it's obviously a lot more generic, and it doesn't really miss. Well, the thing is, the Trap Trick archetype is only as good as their trap cards, as their signature trap cards, the whole cards.
True.
And the whole cards always have this problem with potentially missing timing, for example. Because they're older cards, and usually wasn't really an issue beforehand, but nowadays with all these kind of chaining and effects, it really doesn't help the archetype at all.
Yeah, best you can do is stick a Serra set 4 and pray.
Well, at this point, I'm obviously yes, because we don't have any that much else. The only other thing, well, I'm used to playing against them because a good friend of mine is one of his pet decks, and while playing against it, I figured that probably the best version before this new support and new wave that was announced was actually splashing in some level 4 extenders. For example, playing Igniskidd in order to make, in addition to make it to your Sarah, to chain block her and to potentially summon rank 4.
Yeah, and if you're in a pinch, the best thing that Parallel Exceed does, and always has been good at doing, is make Bagooska.
Yeah, well, Appaloosa, yeah, of course, but you usually don't want to do that. You really want to stick to your game plan of actually having access to your trap cards, recycling them, and actually having a really good grind game, given that your engine is really rolling. But most of the time, one of the key problems the archetype actually has is that you don't really have any good in-archetype extenders, so if you had up until this point.
The best thing you have is the one that sends a trap from your side of the field to special itself, and that's it.
Yeah, the how was it called, the PK fire, the PK trap, Shape Brigadine.
Shape Brigadine and Traptrix Vesiculo. Send a spell trap from your side of the field to the graveyard and special summon this card.
Yeah, but it's okay, but usually you would just want to have value with the cards you have with your trap cards, and you probably get a lot of, well, not probably, always get more value when you have a Sarah set up with any given trap card. And the actual way to combo off is having any trap trick plus your Shape Brigadier, because with both of them, you actually have access to a rank 4 and your link one and your link. As well as having another trap set up. Usually you would be going for the Gravedigger's Trap Hole or Space Time Trap Hole.
Yeah,
or
Gravedigger's really, really good. Especially currently, Gravedigger's is pretty good because for some reason all of our main decks end up in the graveyard.
Yeah, but only after a lot of time. No, it's really the key problem the archetype has is its consistency, seeing consistently seeing the good cards and having an extender. And they up until this point they didn't have a good in archetype extender to search for, because we have some good traptrix searches, like I believe it's the second news that actually came out, it's Mantis that does a normal summon. She can search any traptrix monster from your deck.
Yeah, Mantis is really good, yeah. It's
yeah,
like
this,
Rhoda.
Basically. With the first announced new supportive, not the one of the spells, the other one of the monster, XC monster, and the Link monster, actually gave her a really good target to extend.
Right on cue. Let me just transition over there and let's have a look at the website here. Well, for the viewers here, this is the YG organization website with the very beautiful title of The Return of the Traptrix for the Winter line. I don't know about the lingerie joke they have in there.
It's probably because of the winter season and the plant-based creatures and insects staying in hibernation.
Yeah, probably staying underneath the cozy plants. I don't know. Would it be comfortable in a plant, just like as a pillow, or?
Well, according to the artworks, it seems quite comfortable. Yeah, maybe too comfortable.
Yeah, maybe too comfortable. You might die.
Yeah, right. I don't want to live in a plant, so it's okay for me.
Yeah, me neither. Not really. I prefer my plants either grilled or in my garden. So now, the first thing, obviously, structure deck. Everybody likes themselves a structure deck. Some structure decks are really good. Some structure decks tend to be on the questionable side, depending on the release date, because like it could be like 5 weeks later, so it turns out to be absolutely busted.
Yeah, well, according to the things we have, or the current information we have at hand, it seems that at least they did a good to go with the positives. They did a really good job reprinting or being certain that they reprint all the Traptrix cards that are released to this point, and adding some new, some exciting, some less exciting cards to the arsenal of these trap-trick or trap-based monster.
Yeah, because the current issue they face, obviously, is A, the resources that you desperately need, either you draw them or you pray, and B, actually getting stuff to stick.
I believe, let's go to the first monster. I believe it's probably the best. Traptrix Arachnocampa. First new main deck monster was released, and that's actually the really best card so far they shown to us, to the archetype, because it actually fixes a key problem, or gives you something to play in addition to just normal summon one monster.
It is an in-hand extender.
Yeah, an in-hand extender. It has during the main phase, if you control a Traptrix monster quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except insect plant monsters. And can only use this effect of herself once per turn, so she's a hard once per turn.
Also, she is
obviously she's unaffected by normal trap holes as all the other main deck monsters. And the first time each set card in the spell trap zone will be destroyed by card effect, each turn it is not destroyed.
Which makes this busted as a protection card, because its summon effect is a quick effect.
Yes, so you can actually chain her to something like Lightning Storm.
Lightning
but to
Storm,
be
Duster,
honest, I believe we still prefer playing Heavenly Prison as a protection sort of card.
Obviously, Heavenly Prison is way better, but is Heavenly Prison an extender?
Well, it's actually it's not only better in that sense. It's the only thing it doesn't have is it's not level 4, but otherwise it's a beat stick. It's something to put damage on board in a deck that really struggles hard to go to attack over 2400 attack monster.
Yeah, and also until or up to the point where Gravedigger's Trapped Hole has been released, even burn wasn't really an option.
Yeah, you only get to probably burn around 6,000 damage. It's still enough, and it can
it's still
come
enough,
out of nowhere, and it's it can be very effective as a trap strategy. But otherwise, the archetype really struggles that it depends solely on normal trap cards, and
That is true.
yeah, and it's really nice. Well, that monster is obviously the best support card the archetype has announced so far, because you can actually go for a 1-turn Rafflesia
Yeah.
with only one summon.
Gets your traps in rotation.
Yeah, and if you have any kind of other extended like Shade Brigandine, you can actually end on a board of Rafflesia and having one or two XC monsters in the same turn.
Yeah, which makes this probably one of the best pieces of support that has been revealed. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Period.
I agree, because
for the archetype, it is like the thing with it. It reminds me sort of the Rika situation, because Rika in the what was it? When did it come out? The Rika Princess.
You mean from the first wave in
Power of the Elements? Yeah. In Power of the Elements,
the new one. Yeah,
that one that lets you just special summon itself from the hand, go for link plays, and then shuffle itself back from the graveyard when tributing a plant monster and negate a face-up effect. It gives me the same energy.
Well, yeah, it's not really the same.
Obviously,
because
it's not the same card,
the monster you mentioned, the Rika monster, gives you a lot more advantage on its own. The other one is just a pure extender. It actually reminds me more of the how should I call them, Crusadia monsters. It's just a pure
the Crusadia monster, yeah.
Pure old effect monster to summon themselves and nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
But it actually the other thing is it has a restriction, or it restricts you from going into any other kind of things than most likely traptrix.
Fair.
Restriction. Or you can even play this card in more or less as an engine card.
Mm-hmm.
If you control Traptrix monster, yeah, you can splash it in some weird Rika builds where you
some variants,
add them together, and yeah, you can use it as another extender.
Yeah, just go full on maybe plant link plus control.
Maybe
you already have like some decent options there with Con. But moving on from the probably best piece of support for Traptrix to the new trap, Delusion Trap Hole. For those who haven't seen the card or read the leaks, it is a normal trap, on brand, and you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. If your opponent special summons a monster this turn, target a monster they control with 2000 or more attack, destroy it, and if you have a whole normal trap in your grave, you can banish one monster from your opponent's grave. It is alright.
It's alright. It's another trap hole. They really needed another one, but the thing that strikes me as odd is that it's only targeting 2000 or more attacks. Obviously, it's meant to remove the bigger threats from the board, but as we all know, either the boss monsters float nowadays, or they are indestructible.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really help. And then if you have a whole trap, so let me read it again. Destroyed. Then, if I remember my conjunctions correctly, you have to fulfill.
You have to fulfill the first one.
So even if you, it's either a dead card, or it just removes one monster that you probably could have removed by any other means.
Yeah, it would have been slightly better if it was an and conjunction. Target, destroy it, and banish a card from your opponent's graveyard. At least you would get some form of value out of it, even if you just activate it for the funnies.
At the worst, it would just be a DD Crow, but as it stands, it's a worse DD Crow in a format where we have around 9 DD Crows.
Yeah, so many DD Crows in this format. It's
and they are obviously needed, but maybe I should state that I don't think that this deck, even with the new support, can hold up.
Yeah, probably can't yet.
With a current tier element deck. Yeah, obviously, but considering this being legacy support, comparing it to other kind of legacy support that we got over the past few months, it's on some of these cards are on the better side, but most of the cards are just not enough.
Yeah, they're average at best.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to the long-awaited Link 3. We have our Link 1, we have Sarah, we have our Link 2 Traptrix, and now we have Link 3 Traptrix Adipus. Link 3 Earth Insect Effect Monster. Arrows pointing down, left, and right. Where have I seen that before? A certain GG archetype. I'm not naming any names. With the materials, obviously, you have to include a plant or insect monster being 2+ monsters. So, pretty decent to get out. Generic, if you play plants or insects. And what does this say? 3 effects, as per usual, because it can't be a traptrix deck without the Link monsters having 2 or more effects. This Link summon card is unaffected by trap effects. Fair. Sucks a bit. I would have loved it more if it had like a generic immunity to trap effects. Even if you ding special summon it back out from the grave.
Mm.
And traptrix monsters you control gain 1000 attack while you have a normal trap in your graveyard. This is good. I like this. Makes this a nat 28, basically.
Yeah, it's fine. I obviously meant to punch over something,
Yeah.
but I believe you have really other better options than
Yeah, you have better
spending
options than this.
2
Yeah.
to 3 monsters. We can finish reading it and then we can compare it to the Link 2.
So, once per turn, you can target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of insect and plant monsters you control. Negate their effects until the end of this turn. Then you can banish 1 normal trap from your graveyard, and if you do, destroy 1 of those targeted face-up cards. So it does target.
Yeah, so it targets, it negates, but the problem,
it's
obviously
susceptible to DD
targeting and negate is fine.
It is basic.
It's alright.
Yeah, it's basic negate at this point.
Yeah, it's just I would say it's a extra deck version of impermanence, but I don't really think it's that gives you that much of value long term wise.
Yeah,
because yes, you can use her second part of the effect when you actually target the monster. You can destroy one of them. Okay, but why would you want to do that if you have, for example, or why would you want to give up one of 3 monsters or 2 if you use the Link 2 and any other thing? When the Link 2, if I may read it, is unaffected by trap effects as well. You can only use each of the following effects of Kulana once per turn. After you activate a whole normal trap card, you can set it instead of sending to the graveyard, so you don't really
recycle your whole traps, but you fill up your spell traps. Huh?
Yeah, it makes every trap card like
reusable.
Final Battle, like Subterra Final Battle.
Yep.
And during your end phase, you can target 1 traptrix monster in your graveyard, special summon in defense position. So she and the Link 1 resources. Actually, yeah, they both combo really well with each other because the Link 1 states when a traptrix monster uses her effect once per turn, you can set the trap card directly from its deck. So you get another whole card. If the trap effect is
activated, get your traptrix out of the field. Yeah,
and all of the old trap trick cards are actually mandatory effects, so they don't miss timing at all.
They don't miss timing,
which is quite good. Moving on.
Final verdict on Adipus.
It's fine. It's just not necessary. I don't think. To be honest, I don't really think that you actually would dedicate space to her in your extra deck. Yeah. Because you don't really need to negate anything because you have the traptrix trap hole that actually helps you to negate and destroy something. So it's actually a worse version of traptrix trap hole, given that you have easy access to all your hole cards.
Yeah, you have easy access to all your holes. You basically already have all your resources in. What this feels like to me is what's its name? It's another like Link 3 win more card, which is like if you already have a predominant board presence and you just you go into it for the memes.
Yeah, or for removal and for damage.
Or for removal, if your opponent has like spell trap immune cards on there.
But to be honest, you would just be summoning Access Code Talker as a boss monster. Yep. Skip a phase, skip a level or link.
Our favorite game plan: make access code, pop 3, win game.
Make access code great again.
Make access code win games. Okay, now next up, reprints. Obviously, these don't need much introduction for those who know them. You have your Atrax, you have your Murmallow, came up earlier. Don't know if I've cut that out or not. We have your Nephthys, you have your Dionia, your Reborn. You have your Lone Fire Blossom, which is actually a pretty good like recruiter for
Yeah,
most
it's
of them.
fine. It loses to every hand trap.
It does lose to every hand trap.
Or imperm.
Yeah.
But
But it's
yeah.
still really good. Like, just considering what it tries to do. Then we have your copy of the OG hole. Well, not the OG hole, but the OG good hole. Bottomless. Obviously,
Yeah,
what?
it's fine. But you probably won't be playing this
Yeah, you
anymore. I
probably
believe
won't be main decking it at least.
you will. If you don't main deck it, you probably won't be siding it either.
Yeah.
It's just all the. I believe if I remember newer trap tricks list, I believe only believe 3 whole cards in total
Mm-hmm.
are being played, and that would be time
Yeah.
space trap hole.
Yeah, time space, gravediggers, and
Yeah, maybe even bottomless. It could be the bottomless lost.
yeah.
No, floodgate. Yeah, of course,
Floodgate
floodgate.
trap hole. Yeah, floodgate trap hole's way better. Just flip them face down.
Yeah, it used to be better. Now with all these fusion summoning archetypes,
Yeah,
it
and graveyard
probably
stuffs.
won't be
Bottomless
as
might
good.
replace floodgate.
Maybe.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe.
Tell me in the comments if you are a professional traptrix player and I just insulted your entire race of people by saying bottomless is not good.
Yeah.
I
Please
don't know.
do.
Maybe. Please yell at me. It also conveniently boosts the algorithm. Thank you very much. So, next up, Void Trap Hole. It's the Void Trap Hole.
Yeah, it wasn't it wasn't really played that much in the first place in all the lists.
Yeah,
it's
another generic hole.
Well,
No.
is it generic though? I mean, with 2000 and more attack again, negate the effects of one of those monsters with 2000 and more attack, and if you do destroy this, I mean, just read Traptrix Trap Hole. When a monster that was special summoned this turn activates an effect on your opponent's field, negate the effect, and if you do, destroy that card without any attack requirements, level requirements. And,
which is a way better card to just like main deck too. Because it is basically imperm, but if you control any of the link monsters, it's imperm on steroids.
Yeah, if you use it with the link 2 and the link 1, you obviously get some card advantage, or you don't lose your card advantage. And
also,
that's
you chain block it.
Yeah.
So, next up, Floodgate obviously came up earlier. Pretty good hole. Trap Trick. Now.
Yeah, Trap Trick.
Always a good reprint.
Yeah, probably the best Trap Tricks card around that actually isn't a Trap Trick card.
Yeah.
And thus not searchable, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, no. Oh, well. Technically, it is searchable if you run the Fiends from Labyrinth.
Yeah, but then we are at this point again where we could consider Labyrinth being a power-crept version of Trap Tricks as a deck.
Which it almost is.
Yeah, I believe so. It actually is quite... obviously, because it's also meant to be. It's meant to be to power creep or put trapped.
A lot of back row decks,
Yeah, put back row decks again on the map, or trying to do so. But that's another point of discussion if it actually worked or not. In that case.
Yeah. So now next up is an interesting reprint, in my opinion. Naturia's Sacred Tree.
That's really an interesting one, because we will be going over some of the other new support cards, and it could work with one of them with a certain spell card that was revealed.
Coming up.
Otherwise,
stay tuned.
I don't see how they actually put this card into the graveyard consistently.
Yeah. I mean, Naturia's has always been sort of a bit of a funky-ish archetype when it comes to plants. Because it always had like the big like control element to it, like Reed Bamboo Shoot, just like a very generic example.
Yeah, they had all these Naturia monsters have floodgates effect, or the main Naturia monsters are mostly consist of either floodgate monsters or monsters that do negations, and it's more of a disruptive kind of play style, and not. Well, in that sense, you could argue it's a control play style, but it's more of a combo or not really traditional control.
Yeah, not really traditional control
like Traptrix is.
Yeah, so seeing it's like make an appearance in a Traptrix structure. Keep in mind, this is a structure deck and not just a set release. Would be funny if like
maybe. Oh no, they actually confirmed it that it will be a structure deck.
Yeah, it will be a structure. But as we know, Konami, this might change last minute.
Hope so not, but no,
Yeah, hopefully
it
not.
has a definite release date, and those are. This is always a sign that it will be released as a
Yeah.
structure deck here in our region as well.
Yeah. And obviously, the last Traptrix reprint that is mandatory if you want to play the deck. You have your Rafflesia.
Yeah.
Your Trap Hole on the Go.
Oh yes, great card, great protection. It's not only it's not only it's not only her main detach effect. It's probably even her other continuous effect that is even more important in the traptrix strategy, because it's actually to prevents battle and card effect destruction of all your other traptrix monsters.
Yeah.
So
it puts up a really nice defense.
Link 1 is protected.
Yeah, and your Link 2. Or your Link 3 if you get there.
Yeah, I believe you will already be struggling to go to the Link 2 consistently, so we should stay with the good Link 1 and try to protect that
unless you open Parallel Exceed.
Yeah. If you have Parallel Exceed, that's probably the best, still one of the better ways to access
better extenders to access high, just generally high Link monsters that require a lot of cheapers. Just Exceed, get basically 2 free.
Yeah, but the problem is the Link 2 needs 2 insects and or plant monsters, so it's not generic at all. It's only it can only be consistently made in either a pure plant deck, which it doesn't really have any use, or in a traptrix strategy. But you can use Parallel Xyz just to make your good Xyz.
Fair. Now, moving on to the thing that sparked this entire debate. The second part of the leaks. Hooray! We love some leaks around here. And yeah, they gave us spells for the trap deck. I'm obviously talking about the aforementionedly titled Traptrix Initiative list leak thingy that YG organization gave us here. With the caption of, oh hey, actual spell cards for Traptrix. And the first thing not being a spell card, but a main deckable monster. Being, now just to also remind us both of what it does, Traptrix Pudica. And also a little throwback to our plans comfy. This looks comfy. Damn.
Yeah, it actually does. It's probably the most comfortable. If we would be making a tier list of comfortable Traptrix artwork plant cards to sleep in, that's probably the most comfortable.
Yeah, removing the obviously underage child. So just to safeguard myself here, but yeah, it's a level 4 plant effect monster. Who could have guessed? With a solid 1900 body. To just stick around.
Defensive wise, yes. The 900 attack is still on the lower end.
Yeah, it's on the lower end. But it's modern Rafflesia, so. Now, you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Number 1, when this card, we should really adopt the number 1, number 2 effect thing for TCG. OCG just is way better, but semantics. If this card is special summoned, if this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 Traptrix Orchard from your deck to your hand. So you have your Link 1, but it's a normal summon. And if this card is special summoned, as they all do, you can target 1 opponent's special summoned monster, banish it, and if you do, during the next standby phase, your opponent can special summon 1 of their banished monsters. Number 3, unaffected by the effects of holes.
We should probably just look at this card that is mentioned in her text, Traptrix Orchard, to probably assess
to fully assess this. It is right down here. The Traptrix Orchard. Why is it an orchid and not a forest? Because, I guess, lore reasons. You can only use the third effect of this card's name once per turn, so the other 2 are permanent. I already like this. I mean, it smells of island to me. It smells of home. So during your main phase, you can normal summon 1 Traptrix monster in addition to your normal summon set. Hello, the Fluanderies map.
Well, that's still the good part. Then first time each of your insect and plant monsters will be destroyed by battle each turn. They are not destroyed. Decent enough to protect your Link 1.
It's alright.
And one monster you control, special summon one traptrix monster from your hand or graveyard, and can only use this effect of traptrix orchid once per turn.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit counterintuitive.
Well, yeah, was probably the one thing that these two cards, the monster and the field spell card, because this is a field spell card,
obviously,
that actually got me thinking about or probably assess this this second wave of support card that was announced.
Yeah.
And the real problem I have with these cards is that they don't really fix any of the lingering issues with the archetype.
True.
Because yes, you get an additional normal summon, and that's fine. I get that, but the problem is, which monster do you really want to normal summon? Which monster of the Traptrix archetype gives you actually some kind of board presence that helps you establish your Xyz in addition to your Link 1?
Yeah.
And there's only one monster that is able to do that, and that would be the Traptrix Deinonea, which does a normal summon revive one Traptrix monster from your graveyard.
Yeah, the other line that I would say is an acceptable one. So if you open, let's just treat Pudica as a starter. So you normal summon Pudica, you add yourself your Orchard, you activate your Orchard, and once you activate your Orchard, you're basically required to, or maybe you opened it like as a 2-card starter, to normal summon maybe a Murmello to get some holes in rotation. As you said, Dionea to maybe reborn something. Maybe you linked the Pudica already off into a Serra, so once you hit Dionea to reborn, you can also get your other traps in rotation. Or the other option is, if I recall the name again, Mantis. Yeah, Mantis to just keep the loop going. Maybe get yourself a Vespeculo and get 3 cards on field, at the cost obviously of 1 set card. But that's the best line that I can think of.
Yeah, well, let's probably the best line you could have is having either Mantis and Mantis and the Link one, and the Link the new main deck monster.
The one that special summons itself. Yeah, Mantis, search for the special summoner one and get that one out.
Yeah, well, and the other one is the Pudica, yes.
Yeah, Pudica.
Yeah, searches your Orchid activates you normal summon Mantis searches you the other new one, the Arachnokampa.
Oh yeah,
and
spider.
Arachnokampa special summons herself, and then you would actually be getting your 3 monsters on board.
Yeah.
Or the other thing is, instead of Mantis, you would have your Dionea.
Yeah, you have Dionea, yeah.
Obviously, you would go, before you normal summon your Mantis, you would obviously go into your Traptrix Link 1 in your Serra, yes. And to trigger her effect, to set a trap card so that you get another advantage. But it's not that it's a bad support card. It's a decent enough support card. The problem is you always need an additional card to make that card work properly in the archetype. And if you have a disruption on your effect, for example, if I use an impermanence on your Mantis or your Dionea, you only get the trap card, the trap hole card, because it still activates its effect. Even though the effect was negated, Serra would still trigger and set you a trap card. But you still would be needing another extender, and the only other extenders is either the Arachnokampa, or if you have it already in your hand, or if you have Shape Brigadine and activate Shape Brigadine.
Or in this
case,
you
would be obviously getting your monsters.
Or in this case, you could link the Dionea and Serra off for the Link 2 and use the banish effect of the field spell on the Dionea. Yes, you lose a bit of resources on the repeat setting of cards, but to get some more stuff out of your hand.
A bit of resources, you lose a lot of resources actually. Because why would you go into the Link 2 if you go? I mean, you lose the Link 2, you lose the 2 monsters you needed for the Link 2, and then you only get 1 other monster from your hand as a special summon, and all the special summon effect don't help you getting advantage.
Fair, yeah.
Most of them just give you, most of them are meant to be disruptions.
Yeah, on your opponent's turn, yeah.
trap kind of play style, but it's not really getting you what you want. So you will probably stuck. You would probably either make a second Sarah, which I wouldn't recommend because you would
would
be
not, because
losing
in the end phase it would come back actually. So
yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
and I would probably be leaving it at one point, leaving just a trap Sarah on board with Dioneer.
Yeah, and just ye olde
uh,
Sarah set combo
any of
plus.
the trap hole cards
Yeah,
and whatever other cards you had in hand. But it's still a 2-card combo in a format or in a game where 1-card combos are key, and
Yeah.
you don't really have a good 1-card combo. The only 1-card combo you have is Mantis, normal summon, looking for Arachnokampa. Arachnokampa special summon herself and go into an XC, most likely in your Rafflesia.
yeah.
So that you have another kind of
Another
disruption.
interruption on board, yeah. Which
Yeah,
most likely
that's
will be sending
probably-
Gravediggers.
Yeah, probably setting Gravediggers, setting your other 4 pass, and go on with everything.
Yeah.
That's why I really wasn't too excited reading these cards.
Yeah,
yes,
they're a
I
bit
have
of
to mention it again. They are decent. They are decent
They're
enough.
decent cards, yeah. For legacy
But
support, they're
even-
decent enough.
Yeah, but even if the archetype itself, it's just bizarre that they really are afraid of printing good traptrix cards, because it just baffles me, because when I compare them to labyrinth cards,
Oh yeah.
labyrinth cards do pretty much the same thing, but way better with
Yeah.
less restriction, even more generic. I mean, the new boss monster is
Oh yeah.
is a generic Altergeist multi-faker.
Oh yeah. And the only thing which you could say is bad about the Labyrinth archetype in the form of traps is the Trap Labyrinth Barrage. Because the first instinct you get when reading Labyrinth Barrage, oh, this is crazy if I have a trap that inflicts a flat 3k. Let's just say you have bad reaction of Simochi on the field, you flip what is it, gift card? And then you flip Labyrinth Barrage. You would burn it on. The only thing that holds that card back and turning the entire game into a burn fest is the second line of text on that card, which says your opponent takes no effect damage for the rest of the turn.
Yeah.
So it works more in your favor, unless they're playing psychics. So if you activate this during their turn and they're playing psychics, they can go off. But it acts more as like an extender to like cheat out more labyrinths.
Yeah, and the other thing is that it's comparing to other card games in Yu-Gi-Oh, life points really don't matter at all.
Life points are a resource. They are to be spent.
The only life point that matters is the last one.
True. Especially if you play Dynamorphia.
A burn strategy, but a dedicated burn strategy has to overcome so many hurdles that it's really not a great game plan.
Yeah, and not a fun game plan for your opponent or you to play, depending how sadistic you are and how much you play Mystic Mine.
Well, if you actually want your opponent to have fun, you will be playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
True. So now,
yeah, but anyway, we still have a last.
We have one last offender left. The thing that started it all. Hey guys, look.
The second best default card announced, I believe.
Yeah. Now let us take a look at the one, the only Traptrix Allure. It's a normal spell card, shocker, and you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Discard a level 4 insect or plant or a normal trap, draw 2. And number 2, you can banish this card from your graveyard and target one of your banished level 4 insect or plants, or one of your banished normal traps, and place it on the bottom of your deck.
Yeah. The thing is,
they did a good job with this card, might I add. They made it more generic than the entire rest of the support wave.
That's true, yes. That's probably the best part about this card, is that it is a generic card. But if we just look at it as a intended support card for Traptrix, it really misses the mark.
It does.
To be honest. It lets you draw 2 cards by discarding cards, so it's actually, even though it's named Allure, it's probably more akin to Trade-In or Destiny Draw as examples where you also have discard card. and you go even in card advantage. And the
Yeah.
problem is, if you could, for example, look at the top cards that you will be drawing
Yeah.
and select one of them, you will be better off, because usually in these kind of trap based decks,
Mm-hmm.
we
Getting a
have the
specific card is
situations
more
we have
valuable.
either,
Yeah.
yeah, well, +1 is always more valuable, but even if you only go by card selection, for example, prosperity,
Yeah.
the better thing to have is you either have too many monsters or too many
Mhm.
traps in your hand, and you need either the one or the other. And a blind draw two by discarding one thing you have too much in your hand
Yeah.
isn't as good as just looking at the top 6 card of your deck for no real cost at all, and select the thing that you are actually missing. Even sideboard cards, if you
Yeah.
go by that. If
Do you know what this
think of
card
it.
reminds me of a bit?
Well,
Throwback to the main deck on this channel. It reminds me a bit of Speedroid Wheel. You pitch a card, you roll a
yeah.
dice. Depending on the amount rolled, you can special 1 or 2 monsters who equal the level of the rolled dice. You roll a 6, you get 2 3s or a level 6. Nobody plays a level 6 Speedroid, so you're obviously getting Terror Top and Card Turbo. Or you're getting a
Yeah,
level
and with
4 and
roll
level 2.
level 1, you go with the die, the level 1 die.
Yeah, you go with the dice, or you go with Malicious Magnet if you're based. Don't activate the Malicious Magnet off the wheel though, because it negates the effects. But anyway, it has the same energy. Like you pitch something and you hope to get the good stuff.
Yeah, it's unfortunately it's a little less random than
Yeah,
the Speedroid
it's
cards.
obviously less random, but where's the fun in that?
Yeah. Well, then I would recommend you playing a Gambler deck, Gambler of Legends deck. It's really
Gambler
fun, to
of
be
Legends
honest.
play, yeah.
Or
I
you
would
can
love
make
to
these.
see. I would love to see you roll up with that to locals and actually body tier Shizu.
Or if you want to have a fun, gimmicky, luck-based deck, then you should be playing a modern version of Empty Jar, but instead of playing the Morphing Jar number 3. Not Morphing Jar, but instead of playing a mill card as a the flip effect, you will be playing Dice Jar.
Oh yeah, Dice Jar got off the list. I forgot.
Yeah, and then you can see. Then it's totally random which one you or your opponent wins or loses the game.
True. Good old Empty Jar. Please never come back.
It was fun while it lasted.
Oh yeah, it was.
But
very
fun. Always a brick. It was always a bricky deck. It never
was.
really took too much off, because it had too many hurdles to overcome. And even though I would argue that nowadays it's even more effective than it used to be back in the days, because we have a lot more cards to flip up and flip down your monsters as part of effects, and combo cards.
Yeah, there has a lot has changed. There has a lot changed, but reprint policy this time around for the structure deck. Keep in mind, like if you just want to pay $30 to play decent Yu-Gi-Oh, I would say this is a solid option.
It is a solid option. It's always, to be honest, I probably compare it more to either the Charmer structure deck or the Ice Bear structure deck, because it's this deck is more kept in its own niche. So you would have only most of the cards you are getting are cards from the archetype that already take a lot of space in the deck. And then the few other cards you get are the cards that are sometimes random Mech Knights, for example, that are reprinted. Don't get me wrong, I really like having my Mech Knights. It's a fun deck, but I don't really see too much synergy with the deck. I obviously can see some of it, but it doesn't really help the game plan, except for putting beaters on the board. But there you have better options in Heavenly Prison.
Yeah, that is true. So, final verdict. It's alright.
Yeah, it's decent. I'm always excited for new structure deck, because I actually like playing with 3 structure decks out of the box, creating a cohesive strategy of all the cards I'm given to. But it's, as I said, I would put it around the tier of Charmer, and not as bad as Ice Bear, but I will put it around the Charmer structure deck.
Yeah, around the Charmer deck, which is great value, in all fairness. Like, get yourself a place of dark wood.
that was what I was trying to say is I hope we will get some better quality in reprint so that it will be justify the value that we'll be getting. But but you have to be afraid because if you show up with your Igniskidd deck at the locals and I play this deck, you know that
I will get rolled.
There are 2 kaijus on the list.
There's 2 kaijus in there, and I don't want to get kaiju'd for my life, man. Have mercy. Alright, I guess this wraps it up. Thank you again for coming on here and this impromptu, I guess, improv bit. It's not really a comedy show, it's more of a analysis from 2 people who play cardboard. You're welcome.
Play cardboard. That is expensive, but thank you very much for having me on your channel. I was really excited to be on.
Yeah, I was excited that you actually said yes. I actually just threw the idea out there. So yeah, you're always welcome back. Next leaks, I guess. Make this a repeating thing. I don't know. Maybe the people love it. Maybe they absolutely hate it. They will absolutely have told us down there, right? I may not have a camera. Yeah, I may not have a camera, but I'm staring judgmentally into it right now. Yeah. So, again, big thanks, and thank you to everybody who stuck around until the end of this, because this has been 50 minutes of recording, and me having another like 150 minutes to edit, because the good old rule of thumb, edit the number that you recorded by 3. Yeah. That's been it. Roll the ending clip.